fuerza, cabrón, soy un Sancho Así que dale, y despacito, porque lo mueve, pero muy rico. Así que dale, y despacito, porque lo mueve, pero bonito.
Welcome to Sancho Fantasy Football once again, guys. As promised, I wanted to go over drafts in the past and to show you the results and why or why not to draft players. With that said, I would just keep it short and simple. In this first page here, you're looking at is a draft where I was a ninth pick out of a 12-man league, and I picked Austin Eckler first round. Now, Austin, there was a whole hype about him that with Melvin Gordon out of the picture, he was going to be the workhorse. And don't get me wrong, 2019, he was doing phenomenal. But I already knew he was injury prone. He wasn't able to handle workloads, so I avoided him in all leagues. Actually, just to prove that, he ended up with 165.3 points, fantasy points, PPR total, which accumulated to 16.5 per game. But that's so skewed. It's not even funny. If you guys have a chance, look into his history on it this particular year. Secondly, I drafted Miles Sanders. Now, Miles Sanders is another guy I was avoiding. He was being hyped up so much. I just knew that there was a committee in Philadelphia. It's never been different. It's been years since they only had a workhorse. I just knew, based on his performances at the end of the year, that he was going to be inconsistent. And sure enough, it showed. The results showed. He ended up scoring 170.4 points, 14.2 per game. But in reality, it's my RB1 and my RB2. They just killed my team. And third pick, another high guy that was going high, that so much hype, was Todd Gurley in the third round. And guys, listen, he was already, if you pick players that are injury prone, you will lose the league, especially this high. There's just avoid them. If you could avoid players that are already injured, especially a guy with arthritis, avoid. I don't care if he's on the best team, just avoid him. Todd Gurley, he ended up getting me 163.2 points, 10.9 per game, and guys, he's you'll see. Pick number 4. I did what I never do is draft a tight end in my first 5 picks, but they're just to prove a point. Mark Andrews was there, highly favorite guy. I think they ranked him 3rd overall as far as tight ends. And he got me 170.1 points, 12.2 per game. Very skewed. You'll see what I mean as well. But there, guys, picks 1 through 4 are your foundations of your rosters. These guys will carry your team. If you suffer or pick wrong in these four picks, you're not gonna win. You might not even make it to the playoffs, to be honest. 5th, I still consider a foundational piece, but you can take a little risk. Somebody that may show up later, which I did here with Leonard Fournette. There was so much hype as well when he signed with Tampa Bay because he only had Ronald Jones to play out. And you guys will see again how that went. I wouldn't have drafted him at this point. I would have actually waited to like double-digit rounds, if anything. And then next up was T.Y. Hilton, 6th round. Again, hype with Phillip Rivers there. He was going to be the wide receiver 1. And to be honest, I never drafted him. I have never drafted him, and I never will. He's just that injury-prone player who disappears. He does solid, but when he plays, but again, what's helpful when he's going to be on the bench or an IR? None. And the 7th pick was Tom Brady. I was surprised he was there. I knew he was going to be in a high-powered offense with the guys over there with like Gronk, Oh my goodness, I'm forgetting their names. Mike Evans, Chris Godwin. I mean, solid roster. And just Tom Brady there was a good pickup. And this is where I typically pick up quarterbacks. This is my preference here. Because they're also you. But the thing is, you gotta pick guys that are gonna be solid on a weekly basis, and I'm talking about 20 points a game weekly, preferably. And then this is where you pick them. All right, all right. Next up was Brandon Cooks. Brandon Cooks, for where he was going here, was okay. I approve. He got me 81 receptions for 1,150 yards, 6 touchdowns for 232 points. That actually might have been my best pickup. Number 9 was Jamison Crowder. At this point, I knew I had to get a guy who was going to be a plug and play when somebody went down, or I just need a filler for a bye week. Jamison Crowder is good for that with the Jets. Um, and actually, he showed up. He got me 172.02 points, fantasy points for a ninth pick, so which is solid. Next up was Emmanuel Sanders, and to be honest, actually to this point, I was just looking for a high upside, and so actually I'm gonna bulk these guys up together. I This is where you start picking the guys that you think are gonna can do solid. Emmanuel Sanders was gonna be the wide receiver 2 there with the Saints, but you know how that happened with Breeze, that didn't really pan out. Michael Hardman was hyped up as the wide receiver 2, potentially at Kansas City, and the lesson I've learned this year was that the only guys you can actually pick up in that draft is Tyreek Hill, uh, Kelsey, and Mahomes. That's really it at Kansas City. Yeah, I avoid everybody else. Chase Edmonds, they had a couple solid games. Tony Pollard, again, if Zeke got hurt, he would have been the next man up. And Darrell Williams as well over there in Kansas City. Looking for upside here. Nothing surprising. Nothing. It's more excuse me, strategistical. You know what I mean, for later in the season. But yep. So let's get started. Like week 1 here. Actually, one. And I'm gonna keep it simple, guys. You guys can pause the video and then look at the points and who I put in my starting roster, who I put in the bench. But yeah, here week 1 matchup, I ended up winning fairly good. Some players did what they were supposed to do, and some didn't. And also notice how much my teams change per week. If you're good at fantasy and you want to win it, these are things that I would recommend doing. And we can elaborate more when I actually get more into the draft videos for this season and throughout the year with the waivers. Check this out. This week I lost fairly bad. Week 3, Tom Brady being solid again. You want those QBs getting you 20 points in here. Sanders doing Sanders things. Eckler, see, he has one good game and then disappears and disappears. Good game, disappears. Blankenship was the MVP for the first half of the season. He was actually one reason I was winning. See, week 3, I was 144 points, which is really solid. Week 4, another win. Perfect, right? Tom Brady showed up. Mark Andrews showed up what he was supposed to do. Mike Davis, after McCaffrey unfortunately got hurt. Here you go. And just real quick. Week 5, surprisingly, my team showed up. See, guys, Jamison Crowder's there for a fill-in. Justin Jefferson, I was actually lucky to be able to pick him up. Now Sanders, Gurley, Mark Andrews, perfect. I'm not gonna bore you guys, but this is where the downfall started here. Week 6, just look at my roster. This is why you don't pick these guys up. Actually, at this point, I had to drop Tom Brady to pick up other players. I was in dire need. Week 7, another L. Week 8, A bad L. Only 58 points. Oh my goodness. Excuse me. Week 9. Week 10. Another L. Guys, I wasn't even getting to 100 points anymore. Week 11, finally. I had to start Tua. When you have to start Tua, you're in really, and Justin Myers, I believe, wide receiver, New England Patriots. Yeah, you're gonna lose. There's no way you're gonna get into the playoffs. Week 12, Need of a Miracle. Actually, I changed my name. It used to be the Revolution. So I was doing really well. The previous 2 years, I won the first in 2018, and then in 2019 I made it to the finals. And then actually I started with the Revolution name again this year, but I changed it midway. Another L here. But yes, guys, this is really poor. This is why you don't draft these guys. I ended up in the 11th spot, 11th seed, four wins, 9 losses, 8 straight losses. Yeah, it's just a pure L here. And yeah, that's why I wanted to show you guys. I'm gonna help you guys though. I want to stay positive. I want to help you guys out to draft better, so this doesn't happen to you. You don't listen to a lot of these concessions people or to just give bad advice. See, I was even labeled the class clown here. And but yeah, like, comment, subscribe, and I'm gonna go over the other videos as well where I actually did okay, and you'll see what I mean. Peace.
Certified cabrón, soy un Sancho King. Así que dale, y despacito, porque lo mueve, pero muy rico. Así que dale, y despacito, porque lo mueve.